bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Hey, what's happening? Happy Thursday. Good afternoon and welcome. You got the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, 100.7 The Score mobile app, and yours on television, Fox 34 News Now, YouTube, Fire Stick, Roku, Apple TV. Lots of different ways to take us in. However you're doing so, we're glad that you've chosen to make us part of your Thursday afternoon. Alongside the one and only Matt Estenson, I'm Chois Woodman. Brennan Riker across the way punching all the buttons. You can also join us. You got thoughts, comments, questions. Bring those in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line through the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Take that app anywhere with you. Even listen in if you're out in Coupon, Pennsylvania. What's up, Matt?
Happy Thursday.
It is Thursday.
2 days.
We are less than 48 hours. We get exactly like 47 hours from Texas Tech kicking off against BYU in what is the most important home game in Texas Tech's history. Going into it. That was my tell me I'm wrong yesterday.
What? Oh, was it?
Yep.
I didn't hear that.
It was I deemed it as the most important home game in Texas Tech football history.
Tops the 2008 game?
Going into it, yes.
Well, going into that game, you had to win back then because
correct, but you had two other big games on the other side of that for things to happen.
But if you would have lost that game, you're done.
Right. But you also still had more work to do. This one, you win this, you're in the big. I mean,
see?
No. I mean, but you've got UCF and West Virginia on the other side of this one. You still had to play a top 10
Oklahoma.
OSU team and then a top 10 OU team in consecutive weeks after that. Played OSU after Texas. Everybody forgets that game, and you crushed them too.
I do forget that game.
Everybody
all I think about is the Oklahoma game and then the game after Oklahoma.
But there was an OSU game right after the Texas game where they were a top 10 team.
I still think this is equally. Because back then there was no loss. You could have no loss.
Correct.
Which I know this year you can't lose again.
Right. That's what I'm saying is your path is it's very favorable after this game. If you win this game, you're in the Big 12 championship.
Correct.
So that one you still had a lot of meat left on the bone after that game.
Yeah, I got you. I see what you're looking at.
I'm saying this is a huge game. Huge game. And I'm fine with equal to the 2008 game. Others have chimed in saying there's a game in 1976 against Houston that was really big too at home. So it's definitely in a top category as far as most important games you've ever played at Texas Tech.
And there's the cool thing about that when you talk about those games and then going into this Saturday is there's already so much excitement around the city, around the campus.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's the atmosphere on Saturday is going to be just electric. And I think that I don't want to get hopes up, but I think you should absolutely crush BYU this week. I do not think that it's a close game.
I think, had the most confidence. We'll go through our our staff picks, which you can find those up at doubletsportsnetwork.com. But we'll go through those. I think you were as confident, if not more confident, than everybody else. So we'll get your take on that, the reason why you think Texas Tech should crush BYU. I think this is going to be a good game until the end, because that's basically what you've done against good teams in the Big 12. You've played some close games until you just show that you're the better football team in third and fourth quarters. So we'll see, but I can't wait to see the atmosphere on Saturday. I can't wait because, I mean, you got guys like the the game day guys. I saw a clip of Pat McAfee talking with Stanford Steve about it. They'll both be here on game day set. And
by the way, I hope Pat McAfee does not use his southern accent because it's
a little rough, isn't it?
It's rather annoying. It's a little
he'll
on
use
the nose.
it.
He's an acquired taste.
Have you acquired that
No.
taste? Okay.
No, not that's it.
Yeah,
I don't mind him as a person. I don't like the show. It just doesn't hold my interest.
It's going to hold a lot of people's interest, and for the students, it's going to be a big deal on Saturday. But I think, I mean, Stanford Steve talked about it. He said that 2008 game, he was here for it, and he says it's still, to this point, the best atmosphere he's ever been in a game. So you got some living up to try to match that. And maybe you can't because it's not a night game.
Oh, man, that game was – that whole weekend, a lot of it was a blur for me. But
what do you mean by that, Matt?
Yeah. Well,
what is that?
A lot of liquid courage. But, man, that was the atmosphere I do remember. And just the euphoric feeling when Crabtree made that catch and then tiptoed the sideline. I mean, the dropped interception by, I believe, Blake Gideon.
You're correct. Yep.
The kind of that was like the whole stadium's heart dropped when that ball went in his hands and then it just fell. I mean, just everything that whole game. Even that last kickoff, because we got a penalty. I mean, I was just
kicking off from the 7.5 yard line. Yeah.
I mean, just everything about that, and I think that's exactly what you're going to see at the Jones this week. Is you're going to see just loud and just energy nonstop. It's going to be awesome.
We've waited 17 years for a moment like this. I mean, we have for a game like this. We've tried to build some other ones up. We've tried to, the Colorado game, we talked about it last year. Oh, this is a huge game. And it was, because if you win that, you're going to have a pretty good shot at getting in the Big 12 title. There's been some other games with some large magnitude, but none have lived up to that 2008 game until this one.
Yeah.
This one is legitimately in the same realm.
I explained it to one of my friends this way. It's in the past decade or so, you've played good teams here at the Jones, but it wasn't like you were as equally or the better team playing that caliber of a team. It's always that you were the underdog in these games against highly touted opponents. Like I remember the game where number 2 TCU came into town, and that was great, but it wasn't like you were picked to win that game or you were a bona fide good team.
Yeah, the Oregon game that we should have won, but with sports, to me, you can't try to hype up a game if it's not like organically done. And what I mean by that is like a rival games are the atmosphere is already hot. When you have two hot teams, the atmosphere is hot. With the Colorado, which is we tried to hype that up. It was Deion's first year, and it did give us a better chance, and there was just all this stuff, but it didn't feel the same as something that organically built up, and that's what happened this year. Is BYU is not just new to the conference, but they're undefeated. Texas Tech is the most talented team for sure in the conference, but one of the most talented, if not in the entire nation. So they've done everything they've had to do. Their only loss was without having Barron. It's just built up, and now this is Saturday will be the deciding factor, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, I think Coach McGuire's words this week were perfect for it. You've earned the right to be at this point, to be in a game like this, but you haven't earned the right to win yet.
Yeah.
So that's a great message.
What a coach. What a coach.
Got to go earn the right to win on the field.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Alongside Matt Estenson, I'm Chois Woodman. You got the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Y'all keep your commentary rolling in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We'll return to some of that here shortly. All right, so we've done our staff predictions. We're less than 48 hours out from kickoff between Texas Tech and Brigham Young. The third ever meeting between these two teams, by the way. case anybody's interested. 1-1 in the series.
Okay.
My only memory of it is 2023 when Jake Strong played, and I think one of the more frustrating losses in the last 3 years that Texas Tech has had. Because you were absolutely a better football team than BYU, but you went in depleted and just didn't play very good up there. So a very frustrating game there, especially offensively, where you lose 27-14. The other game in this history, Texas Tech won 21-20 in 1940. So it's been a minute. And that one was, where was that? That was in Lubbock back in 1940. So second ever meeting in Lubbock. Matt, you and most of the staff confident that Texas Tech would win. I say most. Everybody picked Texas Tech to win on our staff. Now, this is not, I mean, this shouldn't set off alarms. We're okay. This has happened, I think, in all but one game so far this year that our staff has picked, our whole staff has picked Texas Tech to win. The only game that they haven't was last week. We had 2 people pick Kansas State.
They're no longer staff.
Well, Jeff McGuire was one of them. I've never seen someone with more K-State PTSD.
I've tried to tell him so many times that it was going to be fine this year.
It's fine.
Ghost of girlfriends past.
I get it. There's PTSD from that team, so I get it. But all of us picking Texas Tech. However, Matt Estenson chose the Red Raiders by a larger margin. You have the most points scored as well for the Red Raiders out of anybody. 45-17. The floor is yours. Why do you believe the Red Raiders are going to roll in this game?
It's Barron's second game back. I think that he, again, had some struggles last week. He was kind of, I know he was only, out for a short time. It's not like he's just coming back from, a 5-game stretch, but
sure,
he did look a little off last week.
I think definitely early in the game he did.
Yeah, and I think between all the emotions, the build-up, the hype, back at home in the Jones, Texas Tech has notoriously played well, whether that's this year or go back as far as you want and insert that year. I just think that your offense is extremely high-powered, again, and it's kind of tenfold here at the Jones. I think that you will come out and score fast and often, and I think that's something that Tech has struggled with in a couple games this year is kind of that slow start. We've talked about that. They can afford to do that, but I don't think that happens this week. I think this is just a week that Barron is going to absolutely have a field day, and I think that the defense on the other side is going to cause chaos for BYU. They've won games and they are undefeated. There's no question about that, but they've given up points to some of these teams that there's no way Texas Tech would have gave those up. I don't think Texas Tech gives up 21 points to Colorado.
Sure.
I don't think they give up 24 to West Virginia.
Yep.
So I think that you look at that and then you times that, but you combine that with Texas Tech's offense where they've got playmakers at the receiver. They have running backs that you can put either one of them in the backfield and they're going to get out there and run. You've got Carter as a tight end that's one of the best in the country. I'm having a hard time finding out where BYU is going to focus on defense and stop the Red Raiders.
I think that's a good point. Texas Tech has the maximum amount of points you've given up this year is 26. And that was when you had a potential first-round draft pick quarterback and a potential first-round draft pick receiver you're going up against. Mm-hmm. And you didn't play as well that game. Your defense was out there longer than it's been all season. So I think if you get to 26 points in this game, you're winning this football game. I don't think BYU is going to score that much.
Yeah.
I think their defense – I think you get to 30 in this game, and I think that's a safe number. Their defense is good. But I think like a lot of defenses you face this year that can qualify as good, they'll wear down if Texas Tech's defense is getting their offense off the field and making them have to play some extra possessions defensively. So
that 26 you gave up to Arizona State was not – I know every game matters, and you have to add that in when you're looking at statistics and the analytics and stuff like that. But your defense was out there the entire game for most of it, minus the fourth quarter when you started to finally put some points up on the board. And you had your backup quarterback in. And that game would have been totally different, if Hammond wasn't in and Barron was in there. And I truly believe that. Hammond just didn't have the game everybody thought he and it caused a lot of strain on your defense.
I think when you look at this team, it's a mature team. Someone asked, did the distractions affect the Red Raiders last year in their home loss against Colorado? And do y'all think the distractions will affect how Tech plays this weekend? I think that's a big question for this weekend. Is you've had a couple of games that have been had a lot of surrounding elements in the Joey McGuire era. A couple of different Baylor games. One of them, Patrick Mahomes is going into the Ring of Honor. Last year, that Baylor game was a big one. Was that the Mahomes Ring of Honor one?
I think that was a couple of years ago. That BYU game was coming off a bye week last year, because last year's Baylor game was an afternoon game. The Baylor game where Mahomes was in the Ring of Honor was a couple years ago, I think 2023.
Okay.
And that was a night game.
And then the Colorado one, obviously you got big noon kickoff here. And so you've fallen short in those. But something the coaches continue to say and that does seem to be apparent is that you're a very mature football team. Very mature. You got a lot of guys that have played a lot of snaps. Some at Texas Tech and some a lot of different places before this. So I don't think this is a group that gets sidetracked. It seems like the leadership is as intact as you'll find on any team in the country. So while I think it's fun for these players, it's fun for Jacob Rodriguez to be out there playing video games with some of the students at Raiderville. It'll be fun for them to see the stuff on College Game Day after the fact. I just don't think this is a group that's going to let that get in the way of making it about the football. And I think that's what this group does a good job of, making it about the football.
I think I would be more worried about distractions if you were both undefeated. As the loss to Arizona State, again, without your starting quarterback, it is what it is. But I think that might have toned down some stuff as opposed to rolling in undefeated and kind of starting to say, okay, now because we talked about it, at least we were talking about it in the break room before the show, is if Texas Tech was undefeated right now, you would be probably fourth in the country.
Yeah.
It's about where I'd put you. You'd be the last undefeated team kind of thing. I think you'd be over Alabama.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's where,
that kind of respect.
To me, the distractions would start to fall in, is that you're number 4 versus number 8. But, you're odds-wise, you're favored in this game, but they're ranked higher, so I think that you won't see distractions as that they're talking about. Is it nervous about Tech having the distractions? I think that Texas Tech's going to come in and absolutely roll. And you've already had 6 games this year where you've put up over 40 points.
Yes.
And then there's 2 games where you've hit 35. So I absolutely think this will be game number 7 that you will put 40 up on. And my far off prediction. It's going to be great.
Someone says I'm thinking more like Tech 38 to 24 range. I'd take that. Heck, I'll take a 1-point win.
Yeah,
I'll be glad with anything. I do believe I'm with you. I think this is a double-digit victory. I think you cover the spread. I think a lot of people were surprised how big the spread was.
Has it? I haven't checked. Has it moved at all?
It's hanging around 10. I think most places you look. I haven't looked.
It's still hanging at 10.5.
Okay.
That's huge.
It's a big spread. Absolutely.
That's
for against an undefeated football team.
An undefeated team.
Yeah. So it's big. However, I also think, I said this earlier this week, I think Vegas is tired of losing money on Texas Tech.
Yeah.
The Raiders have covered in 8 of 9 games.
Yeah, your spread is bigger than, and I just it's on here as the schedule, bigger than Georgia taking on a non-undefeated Mississippi State.
Yeah.
So there's some expectations from Vegas that Texas Tech's for real.
Yes. And that also
about time.
It's also reflected in the national championship expectations where you are 7 or 8 depending on the book.
Yep.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It's a Thursday afternoon on the Bottom Line, 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. You'll keep your commentary rolling in. Yates Flooring Center chat line. We were talking about, what's best for Texas Tech, what's best for the league. I used to think the SEC, I still think the SEC chant people are silly. It's a nice way to put it. I've never been a conference guy, but I've become more so that in the last couple of years. Partially because Texas and OU spurned you and took off for the SEC, and I do root for the conference as a whole to do better. Now, there's individual games I'm not going to root for. If the conference doing better makes me root for TCU, no thanks. If the conference doing better makes me root for Kansas basketball, nope. But first and foremost, it is always what is best for Texas Tech. If the conference doing better helps Texas Tech out in a way, then I'll root for that. But what's best for Texas Tech is that they roll on Saturday against BYU. So I'm more in the category of the shellacking is what I would prefer on Saturday. I'll take a 1-point win happily, though.
Yeah, I don't back when it didn't matter to you, like you were looking for, you needed your wins to be quality wins or anything like that.
Right.
Back then, it didn't matter to me that much what the rest of the Big 12 was doing. But now that you're, fighting for seeding in the college football playoff and those kind of things, I think it does make me want the conference to look better more. And so if that's going to help, ultimately, so you could say it's selfish. I'm wanting the conference to look better because it's going to help Texas Tech.
Yeah. Someone says 41-17 Texas Tech, and Vegas isn't inflating the line because they have covered and lost money on Tech. Bets are not one way. They can give points or take points just because Tech is covered. Their wins doesn't mean everyone who bet on Tech in the game won money. Those who took the points versus giving points lost. I've never understood how some think all the money came in on Texas Tech to cover, so Vegas took a beating, but they did fine. Texas Tech, if you go back and look at the history of the bets, there you can see the percentages of who the money's put on. It is definitely trending towards the Red Raiders in the last 5 or 6 weeks because Texas Tech is winning by big margins. And if you win by big margins, you're covering the spread. When the spread opens at a certain line, you're covering every spread there was. So, yes, I still think Vegas is losing money on the Red Raiders as a whole this year. As a whole.
My heart for them.
I think they'll survive.
Think so?
Probably. I don't know. Maybe you and I need to take a trip just to.
No, I don't think we do.
We can. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Someone says $389. Cheapest on SeatGeek. Go scoop it up. Another one did ask if we're giving away tickets. Mentioned it a little bit ago, but yes, go check out our Facebook page, Double T 97.3 Facebook page, Double T 97.3 Twitter page. There's opportunities to win tickets at both of those places. But that wraps up tomorrow morning. We'll be doing the giveaway tomorrow morning, so don't put it off. Make sure you get in on that. There is also a chance go out and visit the guys at Tech Talk today.
At Twin Peaks.
And then tomorrow at the Overton. So there are still opportunities to win tickets. But those tickets are going to be sought after. So make sure you get in early and go to both of those social media pages. Afternoon, Jamie has dogs wearing clothes. Morning, Jamie gives Chuck a 3-hour stare down. Do you not choose joy in the morning? You know what?
It's the morning.
If you got to get up at 5 a.m., I understand not choosing joy as much. So I get it.
He says some crazy things sometimes in the morning. Okay?
Oh, I have listened enough to understand that.
Yeah, you also say some crazy things in the afternoon. I say them in both. So there you go.
Bobby Hot Dog says, let's be real here, Choice. We weren't typing out any code. It was a copy and paste operation created by someone smarter than either of us on MySpace. Okay. That is true. Most of it was copy and paste. But I think I took some sort of code class in high school, too. So
he thinks he did.
Well, I remember taking a code class. Was that high school or college?
I don't know.
I don't remember. Apparently it stuck really well.
Mm-hmm.
They told us we were going to have to learn to do that. Took a website making class. Planned the parade.
When I was in 7th grade, I got a C in typing class.
In typing?
Yes.
How do you get a C in type? You kept using your pointer fingers, huh?
No, some of the assignments I wouldn't do.
Well, that's probably why.
And so,
that's for any class.
My parents were livid. They're like, "How can you get a C in typing class?" And I was like, "Well, some of these things I forgot to do or just didn't do them." They're like, "Oh, how'd you think that was going to work?" I was like, "I didn't want to type."
Wow.
I enjoy typing class. I feel like it's one of the. If you ask me like 5 most valuable classes you've ever had in your life.
Amen. Yes.
I would put typing in there.
Yes.
That class in there.
All right. Please don't, throw something at me for asking this. Was your typing class on a computer or a typewriter?
It was typewriter.
Okay.
Yeah, they were typewriters. Yeah.
Okay. Computer was so much more fun because you had the games that went with the typing class at least. Like you type these words fast enough and they shoot the basketball for you. There's like a horse game.
Oh, wow.
There's a horse game that was really fun with the typing. Do you remember that one?
I do remember some keyboard games being tied into something like that.
At least it was more fun than just smacking away at it on a typewriter. But yes, I agree. One of the most valuable classes.
I would get so mad when I would miss a letter. And so I would just I would, out of frustration, start hitting keys on the keyboard. And so then that would make it worse.
That worked well.
Yes, it worked so well.
Jamie looks like about a 55 words per minute type of guy.
I don't have a clue. I've never really timed myself.
I think they'll do that for you on a website. You should test it out. Someone says it matters this week because someone responded to the what do you want to happen in the Big 12. They said irrelevant, might matter in a title game, but stupid to think that it matters this week. Someone responded, it does matter this week because if BYU gets shellacked and they drop down a lot, it makes it harder to climb back in. Same for Tech. The committee just needs a reason to drop a non-Big Ten or SEC team as low as possible to make it harder for them to climb back in. Yeah, I agree with that. If BYU loses by 3 points on the road at Texas Tech this weekend, I don't think they're going to get crushed for that. I think they'll fall to maybe 11, 12, maybe.
Man, doesn't feel like they should drop that far.
Yeah, I mean, and Texas Tech will rise a spot or two. But if they go lose by 20-plus points this weekend, then I think BYU, you see them down there with the Virginias and the Louisvilles,
probably
15-16. So I think it is margin of victory or defeat matters a lot for this game. Much more the margin of defeat matters a lot in where you fall in certain rankings. Utah's almost in a better spot because they lost earlier in the season. Right? I mean, they're better off as a 2-loss team having their back end of the schedule easier because they get to sit in that spot right now with a chance to climb up, whereas BYU's got their tougher schedule ahead, and if they lose late, they're going to fall back at this time of year.
Mm-hmm. True.
All right, y'all keep the comments coming in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. This is the bottom line on 100.7 The Score. Question of the day next.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It's a Thursday afternoon on the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score. 100.7 The Score mobile app. Choice, Jamie, Brennan, all with you this afternoon. We'll get back to Red Raiders Brigham Young here shortly. More of your commentary on the chat line. But right now, it's question time.
Time now for Jamie's question of the day on 100.7 The Score. Brought to you by someone not named Jamie and presented by Connecticut of West Texas. Life's hard, your water shouldn't be.
All right, gentlemen. You can go really anywhere you want to with this question, but my question of the... No, not directionally, Jamie.
Were you about to leave?
I was.
Okay.
You can't leave just yet.
Can't go. So you lied to us. You can't go anywhere.
I might have fibbed just a little.
Smidgen.
Just a smidge. What area of Saturday's game do you believe Texas Tech will have the most success in against BYU?
I'll let you go first.
This is tough because it's good on good, I think, with your run defense and your defensive line and their rush offense and their offensive line. Fan support. I think ours will be much better at the game than theirs.
Yes. I do think they're going to have some blue butts and seats. I don't know if their pants are going to be blue. Okay. There's going to be blue in this stadium. BYU always has fans everywhere.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there's a lot of BYU fans in our city, so
yes,
they didn't have to travel. Yeah,
they're going to have fans everywhere. I don't think, and BYU's got money too. I mean, there are plenty of BYU alumni that have money, so $500 a ticket is not outrageous. I mean, it is crazy, but it's not necessarily a deterrent that it would be for some out there.
Brandon, I'm going to go your pass game against their pass defense. I think Barron and the receivers could have a big day on Saturday.
I like that one. I think I'm going to I think I'm going to go. I'm with you. BYU's solid almost everywhere. I think Texas Tech is good to great almost everywhere on their team. There's some areas you could definitely be better, but good to great in just about every facet of the game. BYU is just a tick under that. They're solid to good everywhere. So there's not a lot that you can expose like a lot of teams have. There's usually an area like, okay, they're not good at this. But I do think one thing where you will be better than them if you force them, and there's an if here, if you force them into passing situations, I think your pass defense, which hasn't had to be utilized a ton this year, your pass defense is going to put the freshman into some tougher situations than he's seen all year. Mm-hmm. And that goes, when I say pass defense, mostly we think about the secondary, but I'm also counting the pass rush. So when you watch, I think you have a really smart football team. When you watch the way you've rushed, it's not the same every game. It's not. When you pressure Avery Johnson, it looks different than when you're pressuring OSU's quarterback or when you're pressuring or even when you're pressuring Wegman at Houston. It's different. It is obviously planned to a game plan. And I think it will be different this time against Bachmeier, who's usually a run between the hashes guy when he runs.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't had a lot of quarterback spy type of stuff. I think you will have it a little bit more this week. But there will be a lot of containments on him. And what BYU likes to do a lot is option 1, option 2, and most of the time it's option 3 for a quarterback, but it's option 1, option 2, run the football for Bear Bachmeier. That's usually it. I don't think he's going to have that. 1, the time to do that as much this week, and 2, you're gonna take it away. So I think your pass defense will make it difficult on BYU this week.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, I think the area that Texas Tech will most succeed in will be your defensive front against their offensive line. Just because they do have a good offensive line, but your defensive front has proven time and time again that they are one of the best in the country, if not the best in the country. I think they will find ways to contain Bear Bachmeier, and they're going to force that offensive line to crack and crumble. Maybe it'll be a little later on in the game, kind of like last week, when that offensive line cracks, but you're going to get to the quarterback. I have no doubt in my mind that you are going to find ways to get to the quarterback while also containing their quarterback.
Okay. But it is more difficult to find flaws in this BYU team than I think a lot of teams that you've played this year.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Not surprising for an
when their record is
8-0 football team. Yeah. They're a really good football team. All right, this from the chat line. We have to spy their quarterback or it may be a long day. That's from Chris. Yeah, I think you will have spy, but I also think you spy a quarterback when you're worried about the legs, obviously, but I think you also trust your interior linebackers too. Texas Tech has not just done a true spy situation a lot this year. Even when you faced mobile quarterbacks like Sam Leavitt, even when you faced...
I think they did a little bit last week.
A little bit, yes.
Always didn't always work great.
Correct, because he is freaking fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it was a good thing to have that Kansas State game last week with Avery Johnson. It kind of helped you get ready for this one in some regards.
I just think they're so different runners, though.
They are. They're very different.
So different.
They're very different.
Yeah.
This from the chat line, T-Money806 says, so the moral of that story is simple. Don't lose early, don't lose late. If you're a Big 12 team, that's how it works, yes.
Yeah, don't lose.
If you're an SEC team, you get to have a couple of losses. That's how that works. Sooner in Lubbock says, blow these guys out. That's a wild question. Yeah, if you have the option for a blowout, that's how it is. If you take Tech out of the equation, the best scenario to get 2 teams in the college football playoff would be BYU undefeated and losing in the title game. Then they couldn't leave a 12-1 BYU and the champion would get an automatic bid.
Yeah, that's the best, most likely one.
Yeah, that's the one. But I also think if Texas Tech ended up 12-2, sorry, I guess it would be 11-2, where you don't lose till the Big 12 title game, I don't think they're leaving Texas Tech out.
Yeah, I wouldn't guess so either.
So if you beat BYU here and then lose to them in Arlington, I would guess Tech's in, but I would guess you're no longer a host. You would end up having to go somewhere. But is solid better than good? So confused on your scale. I said solid to good, and I said good to great. So no, solid would be slightly under. But sorry.
Less than good?
Slightly. Would you consider solid less than good? I don't know. They're similar. So
yeah, that's a bit confusing.
I apologize for.
I think I could go either way on that.
My bad. Someone says I'm scared about BYU's receivers. They got 2 guys that are good, but I think your pass defense has been one of the more underrated parts of your defense this year. The numbers don't look as great as your run defense numbers, Because you've played from in front so much and teams are having to throw the football a lot more. But I think you've had 3-4 missteps in the passing game this year where it's big plays that are blown coverages. Mm-hmm. You had 3 or 4 a game last year.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That was rough.
It's been a little bit underrated. I think you've got some really good back end players.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back, 100.7 The Score. It's the Bottom Line. I am not Chois Woodman alongside Jamie, Lent, and Brendan. Brandon? I always get confused on this show.
Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. We have a lot of things to talk about today. You have already been talking today. We've got your BYU water over there, Jamie, as I see. As always.
Mm-hmm. Never steal that from him, by the way. He will get very angry.
Have you done that before? Why are you touching another man's water?
Somebody stole it one day.
It was Clint.
Oh, of course.
And I still, to this day, have not found it.
That makes it sound like he has it somewhere.
He probably does. You know Clint.
Okay. It's time for Tell Me I'm Wrong, I hear. So I'm going to allow you boys to tell me I'm wrong. The Big 12,
You're right.
It's more likely, well, I didn't know what Brendan was doing in there.
Okay.
It's more likely that the Big 12... Hold on, okay, I was not prepared to do this. I was prepared. This is great. This is the end of the bench stuff
it's
right
funny
here.
Because I heard you complaining about it like an hour ago.
No. I've got it. Okay, you ready? It's time to do Tell Me I'm Wrong. I'm Rob Breaux. It's most likely that the Big 12 gets 2 playoff entrants. But it's more likely they have 3 than just 1. So there's the scale. It's most likely they have 2 in the playoff.
That I definitely...
But it's more likely that they end up with 3 than just 1. I think more things have to go wrong for the Big 12 for them to just have 1.
I think I'll agree with you definitely on the 2 part. More likely 3 than 1. I'm going to disagree with you on that part. So ultimately, I have to say that you're wrong. I think I agreed with the first part. I disagree with the second part.
Okay. Brendan?
I'm going to say you're wrong that it's likely the Big 12 is more likely to get 3 in than just getting only 1 team in, just because of the path ahead for Tech, BYU, and Utah. Because no matter what, your Big 12 championship game is going to feature 2 teams with a conference loss, at least 1 conference loss. And I don't know that you're going to get 3 teams with multiple losses in the playoffs.
Okay, here's my dream scenario for the Big 12. Okay, tell me who's not in if this happens. Utah is today ranked 13th in the playoff poll. Texas Tech is 8th. BYU is 7th. Texas Tech wins this weekend.
I like your scenario so far.
BYU then wins out and gets in the Big 12 championship, so it's Texas Tech and BYU, both 11-1. I think regardless of who wins that game, they're both in the playoff. You're just playing for seeding. So I don't think BYU drops past 13, and then they would have the opportunity to beat Cincinnati and TCU to move back up. So I think they'd be in the fold. Utah finishes with Kansas, Kansas State, and someone else. Who cares? They will went out in this scenario, if they're at 13 today and they win 3 more games,
Baylor,
it tracks, and Baylor. I think they're by Baylor, Kansas State, something like that.
Bye at Baylor, home for Kansas State, at Kansas.
So if they went out, it tracks that they would move up a little bit.
Here's what scares
they would finish at 10-2.
Here's what scares me about Utah is they're 13th now, but they're ahead of the ACC champ currently, and they're ahead of the non-Power 4 team.
Right.
And so it's almost like they're in 15th.
So if the last playoff spot is 9-3 Texas or 10-2 Utah, you would opt for a Texas to be in the playoff. That's what you're saying. You and Brennan want 5 SEC teams. I think it also matters if Notre Dame is undefeated.
Yeah.
If Notre Dame is undefeated, that's another non-conference champion at large. Mm-hmm. So if Notre Dame gets beat by, let's say, Navy, even though they're 20-plus point favorites, if Notre Dame loses a game, I think it's even more likely that you get 3.
Yeah, I would agree.
But I think it's most likely you get 2. And I would say, like, I'm at 85% you get 2 in the playoff.
Okay.
And then maybe 12% 3, and then very little percent that you have 1, because I'm very confident.
So what's the scenario where you only get 1?
I think BYU beats Texas Tech this weekend and runs the table and is undefeated. Texas Tech loses to UCF or West Virginia, and Utah drops another one.
Okay. Which seems very unlikely.
Or that Texas Tech wins, beats BYU, and then BYU also loses to Cincinnati and TCU, which theoretically could happen. I think both could happen, but one's more likely. So if BYU loses 3 of the next 4, which is how their schedule has set up for them, but I think Utah at that point would be in the Big 12 championship. And again, if Utah loses to BYU and Texas Tech twice, and Texas Tech is 12-1, and at that point, 5th in the country, even with 3 losses, I think Utah would potentially still be in because it was a conference championship loss and not a regular season loss.
Maybe. I can.
But in that scenario, it might just be 1. Now, it also helps that I think either the ACC or the Big 12 every year should have at least 2 in. And I don't know that the ACC right now has the opportunity to have 2.
Yeah, do they deserve 2 this year?
Right.
Last
year it was SMU and Clemson.
Yeah, I think they should get in as many deserve to get in.
Right.
I'm anti this non-Power 4 team guaranteed a spot. I do not like that, and I'm anti any system that guarantees the SEC 5 and the Big 12 3 or whatever it is. I'm anti that. I just want the best teams.
Yeah, you're pro meritocracy.
Yes, whatever you just called me. No, you called it pro.
That's a normal word.
Okay.
Meritocracy. You work for what you have and you earn it.
Okay, I like it.
Business.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Football
what I
is a
am.
meritocracy.
Yeah.
That's a Tony Romo quote.
Okay, I like it.
No disagreement over here on that.
Brennan, you knew the word.
I knew the word.
You knew the word.
I had no idea what it meant, but I knew that word was.
I believed it was a word when you said it.
This texter says...
You can't use all these big fancy words on this show, Rob.
I know.
This texter says, not enough meat on the bone for Utah, if not in the Big 12 championship game.
But if both of their losses are to the teams that are in the Big 12 championship game,
right,
and they're both inside the top 10 of the college football playoff.
And they're beating everyone else by 30.
Yes.
See, and I think another thing is, I think in 5 to 10 years, people might think of Texas Tech this way. But Utah already has that kind of inherent respect somehow. And I don't agree with it. I don't believe it. I don't respect them like that. But nationally, they do get the nod. Mm-hmm. And so I think that helps. And I think it helps that it's BYU.
Yeah, maybe so.
And I think at Texas Tech this year, you've already been talked about enough to where the committee's going to also give you a little bit of edge.
Hope so. I see it more with Utah or BYU than I do the Red Raiders, but hopefully it's trending in that direction.
Of course, the best way to get in the playoff is to win.
There's that.
You play to win the games.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.